So today we're going to break down a playbook for building a billion-dollar company. And we're going to do it by looking at how you become the absolute essential infrastructure for a massive, massive market. It's a pattern, and if you can spot it, you might just be able to predict the next big winner.
Okay, so it all boils down to this one simple idea. For any new kind of chaotic digital market to really grow up and scale, it needs a neutral ruler. You know, a single source of truth that everyone can trust to measure what's actually happening. In the Wild West of mobile apps, that ruler was a company called AppsFlyer.
And how valuable is it to be that ruler? Well, after building the measurement backbone for pretty much the entire mobile app industry, AppsFlyer is now in talks to be sold for around $3 billion. That's the kind of power we're talking about when you become essential infrastructure.
Okay, so that's the setup, but here's the real question that gets us to today's story. AppsFlyer built its empire in a brand new emerging market, but what happens when a huge, mature industry, one that's actually way bigger than mobile apps, suddenly has its foundations just crack and crumble?
To really get what's happening today, we first have to understand the original playbook. You know, the one pioneered by the company that became the undisputed ruler of the entire mobile app universe.
So just look at this journey. It's pretty wild. This lays out AppsFlyer's incredible 10-year rocket ship ride. They went from a Series B company, valued at maybe $100 million, to a $2 billion unicorn, and now they're a $3 billion acquisition target. This proves it. Becoming the trusted, neutral measurement layer is a multi-billion-dollar play.
Now here's where it gets really interesting. That same exact need for a trusted layer has exploded all over again. But this time, it's not in some new market. It's right in the middle of the massive $210 billion advertising market for e-commerce businesses, a market that has, well, fundamentally broken.
So what's the problem? It's actually pretty simple. The signal is lost. Thanks to all these privacy changes from Apple and Google, you've heard about the death of third-party cookies, right? The data connection that tells an ad platform what happens after you click an ad, well, it's been severed. Poof, it's just gone.
And this isn't some minor technical glitch. It has huge real-world consequences. When ad platforms like Meta and Google are basically flying blind, their incredibly powerful AI gets, well, dumber. And for advertisers, that means you're paying more money for worse, totally unpredictable results. It's a nightmare. So this crisis created a totally new kind of need. The market doesn't just need a ruler anymore to passively measure what's happening. It needs a healer. It needs a life support system to actively go in and repair those broken data connections and actually make advertising work again.
And this slide right here shows you the key difference. AppsFlyer was the ruler. It told you what happened after the fact with its analytics. RedTrack, though, is a life support system. It doesn't just tell you what happened, it actively restores that data signal and then helps you automate what to do next. It's not just measurement, it's measurement plus action. This is why the opportunity is just on a different level. See, AppsFlyer provided the scaffolding for a brand new market to grow. RedTrack is providing the critical care, the repair job, for a huge mature market that's actively falling apart. And let me tell you, fixing something massive is often a way bigger business than building something new from scratch.
Okay, so how does a company like RedTrack actually become indispensable? It's not just about being useful to advertisers. The real secret, the unbreachable competitive moat, is becoming essential to the giant ad platforms themselves.
And this creates this incredibly powerful flywheel effect. Just follow along. RedTrack restores the clean data. The platform's AI gets smarter. Because the AI is smarter, advertisers get better results, so they spend more money. The platforms, Meta, Google, make more revenue. And what do? They turn around and champion RedTrack to even more advertisers. It's a perfect loop where everybody wins.
And look, this isn't just a theory we're cooking up. This is real. Meta has already made RedTrack an official business partner. That is the ultimate stamp of approval. It's Meta saying, yes, this thing fixes our signal problem and helps us make more money. And now you've got TikTok and Snap lining up to do the same thing for the exact same reason.
All right, so the story sounds great, right? The logic holds up, but is RedTrack actually showing the kind of growth you'd expect from a future infrastructure giant? Let's dig into the numbers.
This right here, this is what venture capitalists dream of. It took RedTrack 35 months to hit its first million in annual recurring revenue. But then, look, the time it takes to add the next million keeps getting shorter and shorter and shorter, down to just 7 months to go from 3 to 4 million. That is textbook compounding growth. Now this number, 162%, is absolutely insane. This is their net revenue retention.
It means the platform is incredibly sticky. 100% would mean customers stay, but 162% means their existing customers aren't just staying, they're spending 62% more money with RedTrack year after year. They're becoming more and more dependent on it.
And they're winning where it counts the most. While they have customers all over the world, nearly half of their entire revenue comes from North America. That's the biggest, most valuable, and most competitive e-commerce market on the planet.
So what's the big takeaway here? We've seen the playbook, we've seen the broken market, and we've seen the explosive growth. Let's put the final pieces of this puzzle together.
So here it is, the core thesis, boiled down. RedTrack isn't just another marketing tool you can choose to use or not. It is becoming the essential, non-optional plumbing that the entire e-commerce advertising world needs to simply function in this new, privacy-first era.
I mean, it just checks every single box for an emerging infrastructure giant, right? You've got insane customer retention, you've got the official stamp of approval from the biggest platforms in the world, and you've got that accelerating capital-efficient growth. And most importantly, it's solving the two things that modern AI needs to survive: clean data and deep integrations.
And that leaves us with one final, kind of provocative thought. In this age where everyone is chasing the next shiny, flashy AI app, maybe the most durable, the most valuable, the next multi-billion-dollar opportunity lies in something a little bit more boring. The essential, mission-critical plumbing that makes everything else work.